Hello, my name is Linda Lawrence. I should say good evening. It's chilly outside, so if you're home and snuggled up by the fireplace, lovely. I wish I could be there too. But anyway, I would like to talk a little bit about Artist del Norte, the membership, the fabulous artists that we have, and right here, sitting by my side, I have a very talented artist, Raynele Schneider, and I'm going to be talking to her in a short while. But let me tell you a little bit about Artist del Norte. We have been an art group for over 40 years. We are in the Anoka County area. We have our meetings March through October at Banfield Lock Center for the Arts in Fridley. We've had a couple of other locations over the years, but that's where we're stationed right now, and we rather like it because it's such a lovely little historic building. It just screams artwork studios, and don't you agree? Mm-hmm. It's just lovely. But like I said, we meet March through October on the last Tuesday of every month in the evening, 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. We have at our meetings critiques if you want them. We have Artist of the Month, where an artist will bring in artwork and we vote to see who's the best. We also have professional demonstration artists come and demonstrate their techniques on whatever they may do. They may be a potter, they might be acrylic artist, oil, pastel, whatever. But it's usually a fabulous evening and we all get to thoroughly enjoy it. And then of course we all want to go home afterwards and take up that medium ourselves. But anyway, let me hand you over to, or let me talk to Raynele. This is her piece of artwork that I have behind me. And I have to ask you how this is so, he's just darling. He's a sea creature, sea dragon. So this fascinates me. I do watercolors, you do this, and I haven't got a clue how you do this. I know you did a demonstration once for Artist del Norte.
Right.
And you were talking about, you put it on watercolor.
I put it on watercolor paper, 140-pound weight, and it has to be heavy enough paper to take layers of other paper, because you use glue and it has to be adhered to the paper. Okay. So sometimes it builds up and it gets kind of heavy. So you have to be able to have it thick enough. It won't work on thin paper, but it's a technique that I started doing probably in 2006 or 2007.
Oh, so you haven't really been doing it very long then?
Not a ton, no. And my daughter introduced me to a store in Minneapolis, and we got some beautiful paper, and I thought, well, what can I do in this large frame? I hadn't done any art actually for umpteen number of years, even though I taught art to children. I had no time to do art, so I started doing this process, and as I started it, I liked it so much that I started sort of figuring out how it worked and how to invent myself, so to speak, in the process, and learn to layer more and more layers to get depth and creativity. And there's thousands of kinds of papers from all over the world that you can get at the different art stores. It's fabulous, everything from thin, hairy, fibrous papers to real thick paper to handmade. And so making the layers is what I love, I guess. And I love color, of course, and texture, so I just like it all. But this is kind of a fantasy-like creature. Maybe you'd see this in some illustrative way in a children's book even or something. But it was for a certain theme of Caribbean. So I was trying to look up plants, animals, landscape, and different things from the Caribbean when we were in the Caribbean show of Artist del Norte. So that's how I came about looking up sea dragons and creatures under the sea and coral and all that. And so then I sort of invented my own sea creature. I didn't really look in an exact one, so it's not totally realistic. But I actually had a different collage than this one that I didn't care for anymore and hadn't sold to anybody, so I layered over it and put my sea creature there and changed it somewhat. So that was kind of fun, actually, because I didn't throw it away. I reused what I had. So you can layer over the layers.
I know, I tend to do the same thing, but
Yeah.
I don't create anything like this, you know, when I screw up a piece and I can't fix it.
Well, watercolor's a little more
You know,
hard to do that with.
then I turn it into a collage and
Right.
an abstract or something.
Right.
But
Still.
but I have to laugh, you know. I mean, when you these papers, you probably got a gazillion.
Oh, we do have quite a few bins, and I
Bins,
save all my
yep.
scraps because I teach workshops to children and adults, and so I have all these the bins you get when you buy large deals of spinach from stores, and I save all those clear bins, and then I have about 15 bins, and I have all these scraps. And so people that come to my workshops don't have to bring anything if they don't want to, because I have all these scraps, and they love it because they're digging through all the scraps, and then they're making their.
I know. I
So-
have I have a
So.
couple of big totes. You know, they're pretty big totes. Not easy to. They're in the utility room. You know, because I don't have the room in my studio. But I'm known for I buy paper napkins, and then of course when I go to workshops where it's going to be a mixed media class, I take my napkins, a whole pile of them in a big bag, and then swap them out for other people's napkins. So we don't have, you know, 25 in a pack, you know, just for ourselves. But the funny thing is, when I have people come over for lunch, or, you know, cocktails or a backyard party, whatever, and they say, do you have, because I take off the paper towel roll, so there's your napkin.
Sure.
So, well, don't you have any napkins? No. But I have these totes, let me tell you, full of them. So, and sometimes I really feel bad and I have to go downstairs and grab some, but then it's
Real
only ones that, they never match. They're just just paper napkins that I don't really care for, probably won't use. But no, I'm known for that. Oh, she's such a, you know, Scrooge with her paper napkins, you know. But, so how many layers do you think you got on this?
Oh, it varies because some of the paper, like the green, the bright green, those are actually pieces that are embossed on top of other paper. And sometimes you can leave the white, like where some of these cracks are. And you can just do so many things with contrast, color, texture. And some of the paper is layered in and of itself, and some is real thin. It's like rice paper. So it's just, and that's real, the sea creature itself with all the blacks and silver and gold is marbly. The paper's kind of marbly.
Yes, I've seen
So,
that.
and
yeah.
then I do some pen and ink and marker, sometimes chalk, gel pens, embellishments with details like an eye, and I do realistic things too. It isn't all just fantasy-like or abstract, but so I do a lot of birds and I do a lot of floral, and I just have a lot of fun. So.
And you just get your ideas from anywhere?
Well, I get
Or
them
where?
from real nature a lot of times, but I also do a lot of sketches, and I just like to start just drawing kind of large. I don't draw real tiny usually, and I draw kind of big, and I just start sort of goofing around with the drawings and the pencils and creating sketches. And sometimes I'll just start with the paper. I'll have a color scheme, and I'll just start ripping paper. I don't even know what I'm going to do. So once in a while, it's sort of spontaneous.
Oh,
I don't really
okay.
have a plan.
Okay. It's a bit like when we lay down watercolor.
Yeah. So
do the
it
intuitive
varies,
type.
and I get in the mood to be realistic, or I'll get in the mood to be abstract. Sometimes somebody will ask me to do a piece. They want a certain owl, or they want something, you know. So then I do it for them specifically. They tell me what size, they tell me what colors, when they want it, and all that. So then I'll do it for them. So
Great.
it varies. I like the
Yeah.
I like
oh, well,
the
yeah,
variety.
you have to, yes.
I
Oh,
do.
yes.
I like the
Oh,
variety.
yes.
So.
I don't think there's anybody else in our art group that does this kind of.
They do mixed media with a lot of the rice
mixed
papers
media, but
and all
not
that.
this is
It's kind of unique.
everything's done.
Yeah.
I mean, when
Pretty much.
your artwork is, I mean, the whole piece is
Pretty much paper. Yeah.
paper.
Torn, mostly. Hardly
Yeah.
ever cut.
Well, I did the piece, the kimono for the Oriental show that we had last year. Was it last? Well, yes, I think it was last year.
Last year.
I mean, you can't even breathe when you do these pieces. That's what I found. You know, I mean, I'm sitting there, you know, with the piece of paper, and then you breathe and it disappears off the...
Oh, I have paper everywhere when I'm working. I have paper all over my room. But
Well,
I do clean it up.
Oh, but no, I was breathing, unfortunately, and shooting my piece off, you know, all over the place. But no, it's fun. It's a lovely piece. He's kind of comical.
Yes,
I can see
comical.
him. I can see him in a children's book or in a children's room. I love. Look how well it goes with these different greens, the 3 greens, and it really does look. It's a fun piece. It really is. So, do you put your work in rotating art?
I do. I like to do the rotating art. I have sold a few that way, but that's not really why I do it. It's because the businesses and the people in the businesses and people that come there get to enjoy real art by real local artists. And it always changes every 3 months in whatever venue it's in, whatever you know, office building or whatever. And I think it's nice. I think that more people should do it actually in our group. I think they don't because they always have to be making new art and maybe they don't have time sometimes. I have a lot of time because I'm pretty much retired, so now I do this part-time. So I could see where you don't have enough time, you know, but you're always having to do new art because you have to rotate it.
You have to rotate it,
and then you can't keep putting your same art back in the same business, so you have to make new art.
Right.
So it does force you to always be doing art, which is important.
And then you need to do the art where you can interchange the frames, so you can take a piece out and then put another piece in.
Yes, you can reuse your frames and mix, you know, and sometimes sell your pieces of work out of the frames too. Mm-hmm. So it all works.
No,
it's a good thing.
I've sold, you know, when I've been in the, I've sold a few pieces. So that's kind of nice. It's a nice way of getting your artwork out there to people that don't come to a show, that don't come to an open house that you might have for your studio, or, you know. So yeah, that is an excellent way of doing it. What about the themes that we have for our spring show? You know, we have 2 shows a year.
Right.
We have the spring show, and this coming year, it's going to be the Wild West.
You know, actually, this wasn't the Caribbean show. This was the show Artists in the Far East. I think that was what this show was. Now I'm getting mixed up. Anyways, we had a Far East one, and then we had Artists of the Caribbean. Now we're going to have Artists in the Wild West, which I'm not sure what in the world, if I use this method, I'm going to do. I have to get quite creative. I haven't figured that out.
You'll have to do a cowboy on a horse or something.
Know.
You could do it. Yeah, you could do it.
So it's fun to have a theme.
Oh, it is.
It is.
It is.
Forces you to go outside of your own comfort zone sometimes.
Yes.
Right? So.
Yeah, I know. I'm the floral artist, and when they make me do these themes, it's just like But no, it is fun, and the show is unbelievable with the interpretation that everybody brings forth.
Right.
And it's good. It's good. So we do have another piece that we're going to.
Yes, Softly Growing Coral is another piece that was a little bit different a year or 2 ago, and then I changed it up again a bit. This one the shapes didn't really change, but I subtilized it with a lot more white overlays of paper because I didn't like quite how bright green.
Fine, wispy paper.
That's what I did. I made it a little more soft and a little more, that's why I called it Softly Growing Coral.
Oh,
it's not a real coral in the real world of coral.
Well, I don't know.
But I made it up again, so.
I've seen a lot of coral.
Could be. But I have so much fun with lots of kinds of paper, whether they have a design in them or whether they have
this one
little
is
tiny.
so beautiful. Look at the circles in.
Right, that was some of that paper is just paper's swirled, or the paper has little holes, or the paper has fibers that are long, and when you rip them, sometimes I have to cut them because they're really long. But it's just tons of fun.
The Oriental papers, I just adore.
And I even use scrapbooking papers because I use them underneath sometimes, and then I'll put them under to get dark, and then I'll come up to light, and it just, yeah, it's something that honestly, anybody could learn to do. People say, "Oh, I can't do art." Oh, it's not true. And you have to try something, and then
Yes.
you'd be surprised what you can
What
do.
you can actually do.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Workshops. Do you do the workshops that we
I
put on
have
the
taken part in several of the workshops just to try to learn how to paint better, because I don't know too much about painting, mixed media, and sometimes the workshops overwhelm me a bit because you're learning so much new information that you don't know how to use or
It's
what
like
to
a
do.
brain overload.
Yeah, and so I go home and so okay, I try to glean from the workshop some of it and incorporate it maybe into what I do. And of course, you can always incorporate things about color, design, texture, composition into even your own medium. But I want to learn how to use other things like some of the acrylics and the oils. And so I do go to workshops at least twice a year. I'll go to a workshop. And I would like to go to more of them. Right, I do enjoy.
Well, we do have
workshops.
a really good lineup of workshops for 2014. We have Carl de Ruder, fabulous watercolor artist. He paints straight from the tube.
Right.
Then we have Nancy Carney. She is going to be doing a workshop on oil and oil pastel, and how she does her fabulous figures. And
Yes.
they're not actually figures; they're just shapes.
Sort of blobs,
but they
look like figures.
are marvelous when you actually see it. You know, you can actually see a person there. You know. Then we have Jennifer Stone. She's coming from watercolor artist that's coming from the Dakotas. Linda Kemp, who's coming in from Canada.
And
So-
that's the most workshops in the last 5 or 6 years I've been part of Artist Del Norte that I've seen in 1 year. So
Yes.
that is wonderful.
Yes.
So
Yeah, we did a couple of years back. We did, Shireen is our workshop organizer, chair, and she writes for the grants. And that's the way we can cut costs on the workshops for our members and non-members. So yes, we have a great lineup coming up for 2014, and I'm hoping that we get our grant to really soften the pot. Like I said, membership. How long have you been a member?
I think about at least 5 years. And I don't even remember. I might have heard about Artist Del Norte by reading the Anoka County Shopper. I can't remember how I heard about the group. But I live probably within 6, 7, 8 miles of Banfield where we have our meetings, and I'm part of that. Little Historical Society, took some art classes there, and somehow I got involved in both groups.
Both groups. Are you still with both groups? Yep. I
like being local. I don't like doing a lot of traveling. I have been in some art fairs, different places, indoors and outdoors. I've tried a few of those, and I've tried some local shops and local shows, and I kind of like local.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah. It's
so.
it's not easy to cart this stuff around. So. But good. I'm glad you and you're going to stay with us for.
Oh yes.
Good. Love it. Yeah, we don't want to lose you. So. But anyway, is there anything that you want to ask me? Anything that you can think of? How can we make Artist Del Norte better?
Well, I really like it. I like the demo artists. I love the demo artists when they come. I've actually taken some workshops from the demo artists and then gone to a different Bloomington Center for the Arts once, and I took the palette knife thing with the oil paints, which I don't know how to do any oil painting. So that was challenging. And you meet different artists, and they all teach differently. They have different ways of teaching the same subject sometimes. You can just appreciate and admire how they are passionate about their talents and using them. But I also like when we do hands-on. We had a couple workshops. We had a couple of meetings this year where it was hands-on, where we went around and made decisions about different group things. And then the other one where we did Zentangle and we were all drawing and learning a new technique. And so that's what I'd like to see more of too. It would be fun to actually
do the hands-on.
Right. Even though it's only an hour or so, you can still get stuff done and have fun.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'll make a note of that.
I like that.
I'll bring it up to the board
So
when we meet. We're going to be meeting pretty soon.
Right.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Raynele. That was
fun.
really nice talking to you.
Yes.
I love it when I can talk to the various artists and get to really in depth, you know, find out what they do and how they do it, and yeah, it's great. Thank you very much
You're
indeed.
welcome.
Thank you. So that brings us to more or less the end of this little conversation. We should have had tea.
Tea and crumpets.
Tea and crumpets. But no, it was great. Thank you very much. And Artists del Norte is a fabulous group. Like I said, we've been in an organization now for over 40 years. We do a lot. The 2 shows a year. We have workshops coming up for 2014. We have done art travel, where we've traveled to the Caribbean. We've gone Dominican Republic, Mexico. I took 32 artists on a cruise. We called it the Autumn Watercolor Leaf Cruise, something like that. We went up the East Coast, where we just paint on board ship. Every day we painted. It was a lot of fun. When we've been down to the Caribbean, we've done sand painting, we've done watercolors, we've done pastels. Shireen and I teach the classes, and we just have an absolute blast doing that. But right now I'm staying close to home. I really don't, well, I don't know why. I should be down in the Caribbean, really, but in this weather. But we hope that if you're interested in art, please go onto the computer, check out artistdelnorte.org. Find out about us, and we would love to have you come join our little group. We have a lot of fun. We make lifetime friends. We really do. And we're a very, not close-knit little cliquey type things, but we like to share, we like to talk, we like to find out about what you do, and if you like what we do, we will be more than happy to show you, teach you, share. So once again, thank you very much. Artist Del Norte wishes you happy holidays.